All right, I'm ready to roll. I'm pressing buttons over here, which I can edit, so I'm waiting on Thumb for it.
Fantasy Draft, the only rake-free daily fantasy site, brings the heat again with a $500,000 guaranteed rake-free contest, the Hooters main event. This is the largest and only rake-free contest of its kind you'll find for Week 5. And remember, only on Fantasy Draft are 100% of the entry fees paid to contested winners. Sign up at FantasyDraft.com with referral code WBOV, and you'll get a free 7-day trial membership.
Ironic Radio proudly presents Daily Fantasy Sports, Fantasy Foreplay, powered by DailyFantasyLines.com.
Wilson keeps, airs it out, downfield, the rookie! Touchdown, DK Metcalf!
Give it to McCaffrey, trying to get around the right side, he does, McCaffrey leaps, end zone, oh, touchdown! First down and 10, a play fake to Fournette. Minshew looking deep for short, he's got him, touchdown!
ACU coming around this side is Steven Sims, and Sims still hard to lose him down the sideline! Steven Sims gonna go all the way to the end zone. No play.
From the Falcons 33, play fake, Watson with loads of time, fires downfield to the end zone. Touchdown.
Hands it off to McCaffrey. There he goes. It's a C-Mac attack. McCaffrey, one man to beat. McCaffrey all the way.
They're looking down the field for the home run ball. It's Ford. End of the day. Touchdown to Tyler Muller.
Gets the call. Up the middle, Bonifant. Reggie Bonifant off to the races. Are you kidding me? Reggie, Mr. October for Carolina.
And he's got this running game working, as you see, with Matt Breida. And look at the speed on Breida. What a way to start it. 83-yard touchdown. Hand off to Jones, nice cutback. Aaron Jones for the touchdown. Hand off to Jones, he is in for the touchdown. Aaron Jones trying to get to the edge. He does, he's got another. Jones is gonna reach and get it. His fourth of the game to tie a Packer franchise record.
I don't believe what I just saw.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to DFS Fantasy Foreplay. We're week 5, guys, not week 6.
Week six.
God, I'm so far ahead of myself.
There was your week 5 highlights to open the show.
That's where it was at. Gentlemen, what's going on?
Nothing over here.
Dan's going to have to unmute himself because I muted him. Because of his clickety-clack keyboard.
There, can you hear me now?
Yep, got you now. So,
Okay.
gentlemen, how was everyone's week 5? I had a killer week this week.
Not me.
I had a killer week. I took everything that I even put my stink on, and I left my stink there and took the money home.
I got hit with 2 injuries that took out half my lines.
Dan, how'd you do over there?
I pretty much for the last 2 weeks is now a wash. I was up like $50 in week 4, and then I gave it back in week 5. I was on a ton of players that absolutely had monster days. You know, McCaffrey, 50 points. All over the place. I just couldn't seem to put them together in the same lineup except for one lineup. And it scored 215 points, despite the fact that Mike Evans got a big fat goose egg.
Speaking of Mike Evans and his big fat goose egg, why don't we just get into the Hot Mess Express and then we can roll into this week? All right, since you brought up Mike Evans, we'll start at wide receivers, Dan. Mike Evans is the top of my list. No, you're not getting a car. You're getting a coach seat. I don't know what that was, how that happened. I mean, granted,
Yeah, he doesn't
game
get a
script.
car.
Game script, he had one target.
And Jameis Winston's come out and basically said, I'm sorry, that was a huge mistake. But I'm going to put myself on the Hot Mess Express because the first lineup that I built on Sunday night, a week ago, I had the stack of Teddy Bridgewater and Michael Thomas. And I would think, What if I had switched out Teddy Bridgewater and Michael Thomas for the Tampa Bay stack that I had in the lineup that scored 215 points? How much money would I have made?
You probably would have ended higher than I did because I capped out, I think, in that tournament at, what did I say, 222.5? And that was only good enough for 70. So, I mean, you had to hit like 250, 260 in order to put yourself.
But I would have had that because I had zero from a wide receiver.
Yeah, but would you have had the money to do that? And where would you have to have given up someplace else? And who would you have gone down from that it might not have worked?
Yes, because it was Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, I could have gone down from Teddy Bridgewater from Jameis Winston and then gone up and gotten Michael Thomas.
Yeah, but what did Bridgewater get you?
I'm sure more than Winston at about 19.
Yeah, okay. Winston at 17.5 because I ran Winston. My losses were the injury to Sterling Shepard. Took him out of the game.
Concussion.
He was doing pretty well up until that point.
Told you not to play him.
He was doing well up until that point. He had already accumulated almost 10 points. He was doing good. I know we're not there yet, but my Hot Mess Express this week is just about every tight end in the league.
Greg Olsen.
Tyler Eifert, Greg Olsen.
Well, let's see. What do I have here? Oh, I have Greg Olsen, Tyler Eifert, who was the chalk last week. So because
3.4.
Yeah, but because he was the chalk, it hurt everybody.
Eric Ebron, 1.8.
Oh, how about OJ Howard? 2 points.
Trey Burton, 4.6. Jimmy Graham, 7.1.
Is that really a bust for a tight end, though?
At his price?
It was cheap. It was like 6,800.
1.001.
He at least got value.
Oh, you call that 2 times value.
No. He got 1-time value. Yeah. He at least hit value. None of these other guys here even came close to hitting value. They had negative value. Jimmy Graham at least had value.
I mean, you're right. If we had swapped out quarterbacks and we would accumulate enough more points there. I tapped out at 164. Like I said, the injuries hurt. The tight ends, Mark Ingram, 12 points. 13 to be exact. But
All right, moving over to running backs. I only have 2 on here. I know we could probably add a whole lot more. Chris Thompson, total busted last week, and he was somebody that we had mentioned that could be a sneaky play. And Damian Williams, coming off an injury, did absolutely nothing for Kansas City, which is Kansas City's turned into the New England, and you don't know which running back to play anymore, so just don't play anyone. You can play Shady McCoy or Damian Williams, and you're going to guess wrong each week.
Yes.
So that's kind of where I netted out with that. Wide receiver, since we started with Mike Evans and a 0, I had Emmanuel Sanders with his 2 points. I'm going to bring up Stephon Diggs because he was such a crybaby about life and how he wanted to be traded and all of that. And I think he went about all that the wrong way personally, but he had a whopping 7 points. And his price was, I believe, 2 times that. And I'm going to throw on there MVS. You had no Devontae Adams.
Nope. I had the same thing. I thought the same thing, 2.8 points. I'm going to argue this one on you. No game script for him. 4 touchdowns. A fucking running back. All they did was run the ball. Rodgers threw
Go look at
what?
Geronimo Allison, bro.
That was it. That was the only targets. That was it. What did he throw for 160 yards? And it was most of it was to him?
I can actually give you that. I have that here. Rodgers did not have a good day at all.
6 points.
Yeah.
Which is what? 160 yards.
Last week, Rodgers threw for...
Aaron Rodgers threw for, 238 yards in Dallas, right?
Yeah.
238 yards.
238 yards.
Mm-hmm.
No touchdowns.
No, handed the ball off.
But his QBR was probably pretty good.
85.
Oh, that's not good. That's average. Low average.
It's 85.2.
Quarterbacks, the gentlemen that have reached the Hot Mess Express this year, I have Phillip Rivers, or this week I should say Phillip Rivers, Marcus Mariota, and Derek Carr.
Marcus Mariota's just got a permanent placement at this point.
Oh, he's the new Amari Cooper at this point.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know, he's like 1 week, he's like, guys, I need to get off, got to go see Grams and had a dynamite game. Other than that, he has, I said it last week, put Tannehill in and see what this team can do. Give up on the experience.
He got hurt in that game, too.
Rodgers?
Yeah.
He did get hurt.
Yeah, he did. Knee injury.
Yeah, just like last year.
Yeah.
Alrighty, Dan, you have anybody you want to add to the hot mess?
No, not particularly. I think you guys did a good job covering it there.
All right, so with that said, let's jump into this week. Where do we want to start, gentlemen? Quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, defense.
I think I want to start at running back because I think we have a number of value plays there to discuss. And once we pick one of them, I think we can pretty much do whatever we want. And we've got a lot of interesting news that just kind of broke in the last couple hours since I was out, which it's interesting. You know, you can write something on Thursday and be all excited about your lineup, and then news changes on Friday with injuries, and all of a sudden you look what you have, what you thought was like absolutely perfect, and you just kind of crumple it up and throw it away. And that's basically what happened to me. So as you guys know, I was on the Alvin Kamara this week, pulls up in the injury report yesterday with an ankle and then disappears from practice today. So at this point, I'm assuming that he's not going to play. And if he's not going to play, and I can get, you know, Latavius Murray for $7,000, all of a sudden I have like wide receiver core of like Julio Jones and Amari Cooper, and I'm still running out a bunch of stud running backs in the other three positions. And the other interesting news is that Pittsburgh's down to their third string quarterback, which I think makes the Chargers defense very appealing on Sunday night.
All right, I will see your Latavius Murray, and I'll give you two other names. I'm going to give you Malcolm Brown.
Yep.
The news just came out that Gurley is not playing.
Right, Gurley's doubtful.
And I don't know how much credence I'm giving Arizona right now saying that David Johnson's actually going to play. And if he does play, how effective is he going to be? So I'm going to give you Chase Edmonds as another name. Malcolm Brown is 7,800 on FantasyDraft, and Chase Edmonds is 8,500 on FantasyDraft.
So you have a $1,500 range there, and basically you can play any of them and just change your defense depending on which way you want to go. Of those three, who would you guys like to have? And really thinking, what I find really intriguing about Latavius Murray is how Alvin Kamara has been used in the running game for the last 2 weeks, where he's getting, 16, 17, touches as a runner, plus what he's doing as a receiver. And if that all goes to Latavius Murray or the bulk of it at 7,000, I don't care what the matchup is. That just looks like a steal.
I don't know about.
I like to stack that game personally.
Oh.
I was talking to Ren about this earlier. With Bridgewater throwing 300 last week and really starting to come into his own, and knowing that he's only got 3 or 4 more weeks as a starter, he's really starting to put on a show now. The Saints defense is really coming around. I mean, you've seen what they've shut down in the last 3 weeks since Bridgewater's been there. I think stacking that game with Latavius, I like the move. I have a lot of exposure to it. I also would stack him with Can't Guard Mike. Take Bridgewater, Latavius, and Can't Guard Mike.
If you're going down there, one of my personal top plays that I think is, I like it, and I like it for very much contrarian reason. I don't think he's going to be high owned, and that's going to be Fournette. So you could take Latavius Murray, you could take Fournette. You're getting both sides of the ball there. You have Can't Guard Mike, and then you go take D.D. Westbrook, who I think has the primo matchup.
Yep, we talked about that too, yeah.
Who is going up against Eli Apple, which, I know how you feel about Eli Apple, but I also know Eli Apple's beatable.
He's beatable. He's starting to look better. It's only taken 1.5 years, 2 years.
So there's your mini game stack, and you could definitely go and build that. I mean, build that.
Well,
And then you throw in, you throw in your Hooper.
Yeah.
But running backs here, I like Leonard Fournette. I really like Le'Veon Bell against Dallas. I mean, you saw what Aaron Jones did last week. Granted, Green Bay has a whole lot more respect on the other side of the ball than the Jets are going to have. I get your argument, Webby, about, there's who else is on the Jets that is going to put any kind of fear into Dallas. And you got Jamison Crowder, you got Robbie Anderson. There is no Chris Herndon, which if Chris Herndon were in that game and he was healthy, I think that would have been a game changer because he is a dynamite tight end, even though, he's suspended for drugs in the whole 9 yards, but whatever. I think if you had those four people, Le'Veon Bell, Robbie Anderson, Jamison Crowder, and Chris Herndon, that would have just blown open the game and made it a dynamite game for Bell.
Yeah, see,
I still think it's going to be a very good game for Bell. I think Bell is good. Just take the Aaron Jones talent, and he scored 4 touchdowns on them.
Yeah.
And then replace Aaron Jones with Le'Veon Bell.
Here's the thing. Web Boy made a very good point yesterday in our discussions about them stacking the box against Bell. And so for a second, I was backing up off of it. And then I started to get like, I hope they stack the box against Bell, because what does that mean? It's not like Bell's going to get less touches. Those runs are going to turn into, instead of 16 running plays, he's going to catch 12 of 16 passes for 120 yards and 2 Ds, and that's a 40 burger for you. So please, Dallas, please stack the box against Bell. I'm begging you to do so.
Well, and like I said, I don't know if I wrote it out there or not, but what I can see from that game in the script that, it could very well be is they stack that box and they pull the linebacker twist on it to contain Bell in the run. And if they do go to the pass, they're still going to be playing man zone.
So you get all the underneath passes.
Right. So it's just
so there's your Jamison Crowder.
It could, see, that might be the better play than Bell. But
Jamison Crowder is on my list of wide receivers. I have Crowder and I have Robbie Anderson as kind of a contrarian pick.
Can I just throw both in there? Can I throw Le'Veon Bell and Crowder?
I think Crowder's definitely a cash game play for sure. And he's gonna get all the over the middle. And
that still leaves you 3,900 on the board.
And what's your defense?
Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah,
at 7,200.
Which means you can go up from Crowder to someone else at $11,000.
Yeah.
Other running backs that I kind of like this week, I have an affinity, and I don't know why. Adrian Peterson. If this is going to be the week that you're going to get, 100 yards and two TDs out of Adrian Peterson, it's going to be against the Dolphins.
Tyler Lockett or Tyler Boyd.
I don't disagree that you like.
He's 8,800 himself. I mean, we have a lot.
I know it's an incredible value play when you look at the matchup and you look at the fact that the Dolphins have given up the second most amount of rushing yards by only 20, and they had last week off. So they really, truly are the worst rushing defense in the league. It's just that I want some exposure there. It's one of those things like, man, I'm kind of wincing as I'm putting him in. I'm not sure it's going to pay off. But I think it's it's just a huge range. It could be a really low floor. It could be an amazing, I mean, AP could have 8 points. AP could have 40 points in that game. And I got to think that his ceiling is probably higher than what a Latavius Murray or any of those other backups are that we were talking about.
AP puts up 40 points, and you're going to see his legs at the 50 and him crawling to the end zone with just half a torso. It's a lot of work for him. But it's possible. He could have a tremendous game. It's the same thing with Frank Gore or Carlos Hyde. You just never know with those two guys. I know.
I'm nowhere near Carlos Hyde.
I know. No, I was on him last week, and I'll take the 2. Thanks.
Oh, the minus 10 points?
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't bring him up because it was so negative that the train pulled out, and he was still running behind it, so he didn't make the hot mess express.
Yeah, he got caught.
Missed it.
He got caught at the ticket booth for not pre-purchasing his
prepaying,
ticket. Yeah.
Right. Any other running backs here? We could talk about Chris Carson, but again, he came up yesterday on injury report.
He's no designation there right now for Carson.
Designation?
Yeah, no designation.
And the other oh my goodness matchup. is Mark Ingram against Cincinnati, which have given up the most yards. And look, what I like about Chris Carson and Le'Veon Bell and Mark Ingram, those three, is they're all reasonably priced. They're all in really good matchups. And less so with Chris Carson, but he's just getting the volume. And they've all produced already. So it's unlike an AP or somebody. These are guys that are, I think with a high degree of certainty that they're going to have they're going to be at the top this week, those three guys.
It's tough to put, in my opinion, a lot of faith behind Ingram after the last 2 weeks.
Bias.
It's not so much bias. Look, you played Cleveland.
And Cleveland played the game of their lives.
Okay, you played Cleveland. Granted,
that's an anomaly. If
granted,
anything,
look, you touched the ball 12 times for 71 yards. You averaged 5.9. That's great. Couldn't find the end zone. Your only lone reception was dropped. No yards. All right, you dropped it. You fumbled it and lost the ball. Hence one of the reasons why Cleveland won. They scored 7 on that turnover. Then you go up and face Pittsburgh.
I don't know. Pittsburgh's defense is like the one thing about that team that's actually stepping up.
You touched the ball.
Yeah, they went and got
Minka.
went and got Minka Fitzpatrick, and that totally solidified that secondary.
Mm-hmm.
Back up. I mean, look, there's inconsistency here, but look at the other side. I mean, against KC in week 3, 16 rushes for 103 yards and
6.4 average, which touches, yeah.
But it's Cincinnati. It's a worse defense than KC. We were on him in week 1, remember, against Miami, and he scores 25 points. And with 14 rushes for 170 yards. I'm looking that where he is produced has been when he's been in these great matchups, and he's probably the best matchup he's going to have for the remainder of the season.
Agreed.
I'm not gonna,
I'm not going to complain against that.
I can't argue it. I don't trust it, but I mean, it's in the numbers. There's no doubt about that, and this is a numbers game.
Well, that totally is a numbers game.
It's definitely in the numbers for it.
I think
who would I drop to put him in?
I think I would get rid of Dalvin Cook and put in Fournette. First of all, both sides of that ball, bro. The one guy who's probably going to be chalked this week that I'm nowhere even near, especially after his last 2 weeks' performances, is Ezekiel Elliott.
Not touching him.
I think he's priced out at 16-2, where you can get better value, better plays elsewhere. And he salvaged his day in the fourth quarter of the Packer game, but if you look at those first 3 quarters, there was nothing there. He was standing on the sideline, and Pollard was taking handoffs.
It's torture to try and leave $2,300 on the table.
You're not leaving $2,300 on the table. All right, moving over to wide receivers here. This week it's one of those, in my opinion, one of those difficult weeks because it's very wide open. The matchups are just there for these wide receivers, and whether or not you want to pay is where the determining factor is. You know, Julio Jones against Arizona, he could eat all day.
True.
DeAndre Hopkins against Kansas City could eat all day.
Keenan Allen, too.
And I'm on DeAndre Hopkins this week. I actually had a lineup that I went back to Deshaun Watson. I went back to the well from last week, and instead of Will Fuller, went with DeAndre Hopkins this week. I think in other areas, mid-price guys, I'm on D.D. Westbrook over the Shark, DJ Chark. And value guys, I kind of like Crowder. I brought him up already. I think Cortland Sutton's in a good spot at 9.3K.
Okay.
Michael Gallup against the Jets. Jets secondary is not that great.
Gallup could be a good one, too.
You know, Tyler Boyd, 12K. I could see that. I'm not going anywhere near Cleveland. I'm not going near Odell. Not until Baker Mayfield shows me something. What he did on Monday night in San Francisco by just eating grass and fumbling the ball and running around like a scared chicken all day, I can't buy that. And now you're going into Seattle, or they're playing Seattle at home. I don't know how I feel about that either. I do like Amari Cooper, though, at 12-9. I like Adam Thielen against Philly.
That's a great matchup for Thielen.
But on the same side, I could also see you playing either Thielen or Diggs, depending on what your money is and where your money's at.
I have exposure to him. I am totally feeling Thielen.
Oh, you're feeling Thielen?
Yeah,
I see what you did there.
I
see what you did there, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of staying away from the Rams-San Fran game. That defense in San Francisco, if they can replicate what they did Monday and play together and play tight and play as a team, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with all season. And if they have something to play for, which is being undefeated, and you beat the Rams, you're almost punching your ticket at that point. I'm not saying they're punching their ticket to winning a Super Bowl, but they're putting themselves in a very good spot to at least make the playoffs, whether it's wild card or taking the division. But I'm kind of staying away from both sides of that game. I just don't feel that game. I'm not feeling Breida. I'm not feeling Coleman. And maybe Kittle.
The Kittle's got. See, I told started off Hot Mess Express and putting every tight end.
Yeah, but you can't put Kittle there. Kittle had 20 plus points.
I know, but it's a shitty matchup for him in that Rams San Fran game. It is a shitty matchup.
I don't know if it's.
He could eat. We were listening to fantasy sports guys coming in here, driving into the studio, and they were all like, "Oh, I'm taking Zach Ertz out of my trusted zone." And
see,
Philly
if you look at Kittle, his matchup is mid-tier. It's not good.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Right. It's mid-tier.
That whole, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, they're all mid-tier and the 13, 14, 15 rank range.
Right.
So it's not a terrible matchup. It's mid-tier. I don't feel that game at all.
I mean, you want to buy down and take a shot in tight end? Grab someone from the Redskins this week.
Oh, I have the perfect guy, and when we get the tight ends, I'm going to give him to you.
You're going to sprinkle and tinkle?
Yep.
Yeah? You're going to tinkle and sprinkle all over the field?
Yes, sir, I am.
The only question is do they split time, and who's more the effective tight end?
Split time with who?
Springer.
Vernon Davis?
Cunningham.
Not playing. No, I think it's going to be Sprinkle.
Jerome Cunningham.
No, I think it's going to be Sprinkle at 3K or 5K.
5K, yeah.
I think it's going to be Sprinkle. Going back to wide receivers, do you have any love or anything for Lockett against Cleveland?
Yeah. It was a tough decision in this lineup I'm building here, looking at numbers, whether it was Tyler Boyd or Tyler Lockett. They're both around the same
Well, don't
price.
you have 2,300 sitting on the table?
Yeah, and if I remove Boyd...
Who can you go get? Anyone.
The flex. Yeah, I can go get anyone.
14-3?
Yeah, I got 14-3 on the table.
Yeah, 14-2.
You made me take Dalvin Cook out. It's who I had in there to put in Leonard Fournette, and then that left.
So take out, put in Cook and go down from Baltimore Ravens defense to San Fran of the Jets.
I don't even
there
have
you go.
to. What are you telling me? Take
No, just put Cook in, and then go down in defense.
Then I got to take out and then go back to the Niners is who I was running because they seem to have the better matchups this week.
How about Alshon Jeffrey against Minnesota? Minnesota.
I have. What does that leave me with? Yeah, okay, he's back again. It leaves me with 700 on the table. I think I've gone to the well too many times with Alshon Jeffries. I had him this week, 11-2. I know it's a better matchup.
Is it a better matchup, though?
Well, I mean...
I don't like Dalvin Cook this week because if Philly can do anything, it's defend the run. And if you look at their week over week over week, they're one of the top run defenses in the league. They can stop the run. They can't stop the pass. The way to beat Philly is throw the ball.
See, the problem with Alshon Jeffries is week 1 was his week.
And then he got hurt.
Yeah, so he missed a game.
All right, so
Atlanta
Dan,
game.
before we lost you, I threw out a bunch of names. I'm on DeAndre Hopkins. I had a lineup where I had Deshaun Watson, and instead of running Fuller, I plugged in Hopkins. Webby and I are both feeling Thielen, as he put it out there.
Feeling.
I like Amari Cooper. I am not on Odell at all. I am not on the San Fran Rams game at all. There is no 2 Coopers, 1 Cup this week for me.
When does OBGYN become a Patriot?
Oh, jeez.
Gonna get traded
by the
sooner or
trade
later.
deadline.
Soft trade deadline.
So I agree with all of that, and I think the approach. So I'm on Matt Ryan in the article against Arizona, and so with the adjustment of Kamara likely not playing, and I got Murray in there, I've now I've got Julio Jones and Amari Cooper as my wide receivers for that lineup. I'm thinking likely. I'm hoping we build something that uses something from that KC Houston game in terms of a stack, because I certainly would like to have some exposure to that game as well. And doing a Hopkins stack makes a lot of sense to me.
I like stacking the Atlanta game too with Ryan, Julio, and Sanu.
And I also wouldn't mind. They're saying that Tyreek Hill's going to come back this week. I mean, I know a lot of people will be on like Mahomes Hill, but that's probably not a bad stack because I'm sure they're going to play him. And we're all going. Austin Hooper is the obvious glowing play. I'm going to throw out one other tight end that we may want to have exposure if we want to go, cheap somewhere else. The word just come across that Hunter Henry is going to play. He's the number one, tight end of the Chargers, and it's he's at 5,500. So you talk about, in fact, you can play Hooper, and Henry could be somebody you could put in the flex instead of Latavius Murray, and then you can really do whatever you want.
I have a tight end that's even cheaper, believe it or not.
Washington.
Yeah,
sprinkle my tinkle.
Mr. Sprinkle.
Is he 5?
He's 5. He's
grand.
Min. Yeah, he's Min.
He's Min salary, and Miami can't defend the tight end.
Or the wide receiver.
Or the wide
running
receiver.
back,
Or the running back.
Or grandma in the stands who wants to throw the ball back. I mean, the fans who want to throw popcorn, he can't.
I mean, you really want to create value someplace and go load a lineup with like Julio and DeAndre Hopkins and Adam Thielen and Amari Cooper. You probably could create that by putting in Sprinkle.
Right.
And running
in a flex spot.
Or somebody like that.
You could still have Hooper. I don't think you don't want it. Hooper, I can't see not playing him when you against the Cardinals, and he's the number one scoring tight end on the slate as it is, and he's going against the worst defense against tight ends. And as far as the price range is, he's actually $3,900 cheaper than Travis Kelce, despite the fact that he's averaged more than a point a game than Kelce.
Yeah.
I said this to Webby, and we had a conversation when you had a bounce for real quick. But I also like Kittle. I think Kittle's in a good spot.
I think he is too. And I read somewhere he's getting like I think it was Tagleria. He's getting 28% target share in that offense.
Yeah.
I mean that's massive. I know that he came up on the injury report, and I'm not sure. He has a groin issue, so he's questionable for Sunday. And what concerns me about a groin issue is just mobility. So I'm not sure. I mean, I think it's a good matchup. The price is good. I like the volume. I think the risk may be a little bit high there. I mean, all of us guys have dealt with groin issues, and they're not a little thing that goes away over a day or two.
I mean, he's playing 90+% of the snaps. The only week that they laid off on him a bit was against San Fran, the San Fran Cincy game, where they only used him 67%, but otherwise he's 91, 96, 100. I mean, he's a beast on the field. He's, he don't sit out. He's in on every goddamn play.
Kittle as of right now, Kittle is the highest projected tight end being owned this week at 26%. Mark Andrews Sanders is second with 19%. Austin Hooper third with 16%. Kelsey fourth with 13%. Zach Ertz fifth with 8%.
Where's Sprinkle at? Like less than 1%?
There's no
projection?
There's no projection for him yet.
So, okay. Again, I go back to this. We're trying to win the top prize in the GPP tournament. And he's min salary. And he's in the best matchup against a team. I say let's build a lineup and throw him in the flex. Go 2 tight ends. And then we can load up everywhere else.
The only thing stopping me and being second guessing about that, excuse me, is Terry McLaurin at 12-3. Case Keenum is the quarterback. Him and McLaurin definitely have a connection. McLaurin's healthy. So I think he's going to be the beast who's going to eat.
Oh, I agree with that, but I think that he's going to eat from, a 40-yard pass out, for a touchdown. I definitely see that could happen in this game. But you get inside the 10, you got a big body tight end.
Or you have an Adrian Peterson. Or you have a Chris Thompson. I mean, at that point in time, it's a total crapshoot as to what you're going to do with that.
But we did a couple weeks ago. We went with a bargain basement tight end to do this approach, and they got us a couple points. How low do you think this floor is with him?
What, Sprinkle?
Yeah,
I think his floor is 1 catch, 20 yards, 2 points.
3.
25.
No, it's a full point.
1 catch, 15 yards, then 2.5 points.
Tinkle my sprinkle?
Yeah.
I don't know.
A ceiling.
Oh, yeah.
1 catch for a TD on the 1 yard line, 6 points.
Well, that's
6.1 points.
7.1 or whatever it is. So
whatever it is.
Could be 14.
It could be. It could
You
be
asked
nothing.
what the ceiling. I think
they asked me. I gave you what I think the ceiling is. It's going to
okay.
be 1 yard for a touchdown, 7 points.
Okay, who has the bigger ceiling than if we want to go low and build a stack here? Is it going to be Latavius Murray at 7,000 or Sprinkle at 5 or Hunter Henry at 5,500 on Sunday night? And you got something going on Sunday night. But you're risking that he really doesn't go, and on fantasy draft, there is no late swap.
Yeah, and I don't want to get burnt on that. I'd rather go with the chalk of Hooper. Well, he's not the chalk. Kittle's the chalk. I'd rather go Hooper.
I'm absolutely saying. I'm saying we play Hooper. There's no way you don't.
I don't.
I'm just saying, what if we throw one of these really cheap tight end in a flex, and then we're able to go nuts everywhere else?
All right, let's do quarterbacks, and then we'll get into lineup construction here. This isn't going to take very long because, in my opinion, I'm only really looking at maybe 3 quarterbacks, 4 if you really want to get crazy with it. I'm looking at Deshaun Watson, who I've already mentioned. You guys mentioned Matt Ryan. As the week's gone on, I'm getting on the Matty Ice train. I just still sketchy about that. He's just looked terrible all season. And I think
he's averaged 26 points a game, though.
Yeah, but I think that's also a product of Dirk Cutter going for the head coach job and trying to get the head coach fired. So I think there's more politics in play there. And I'm on Kirk Cousins, the man I bashed last week and said didn't have a reason to be a starter, and he was an $85 million backup, and I wouldn't play him. I actually like the spot he's in this week because I think he'll have the time in the pocket.
It's a great matchup.
And you pair him with a Thielen or a Diggs, depending on your salary cap and where you're at, and you can do a lot with, Cousins at 10.2K.
He did get 23 points last week, which is,
and he only,
that's nothing to sneeze at it at 10-2.
He only fumbled once.
Any interceptions?
No, he hasn't thrown an interception since the Green Bay game.
The ownership's going to be incredibly low there. One other name I'd throw into the mix, just because what he's been doing lately, is Russell Wilson. But the 1 week we were on him, he did nothing. But he's had some amazing games lately. And he's going against Cleveland and
Yeah,
struggling.
I think there's better value around him. Like Watson's a better value than Wilson, I think.
Yeah, and they're the same price.
Exactly. I think he's in a better spot against KC. If you want to pay up on the other side of the ball, we saw what that Houston-Atlanta game was last week, and he said Matt Ryan already had 26 points last week. You could always throw in Mahomes and pay 14.1 for him.
And I played him last week, and I know him. Is he healthy? Do you think Mahomes is?
I don't know. He came up lame in that game. I don't know how healthy he is, but if he's not on the injury report, it didn't happen.
He's been injured since week 1.
Yeah, but he's still never has a questionable time.
Right.
Well, okay, going back to when I was a reporter covering the Chargers and Rivers we all knew he had a chest issue and he was throwing a couple picks a game, but he wasn't on the injury report. I mean, you got to look at your own eyes and what they're doing, and in the last couple games, Mahomes has 1 touchdown. Do you have any concern this game doesn't turn into the 55-point shootout?
No, but that's why I'm on Watson saving my $700.
Yes, the over and under that game of 56 is it worries me. I want to bet that game, but that over and under 56 worries me.
I like Watson this game. I do.
Okay, one other kind of cheap one I'm just going to throw out there in the mix is Kyler Murray on the other side of the ball against Atlanta. The problem I see is Murray is $800 more than Ryan. I'd rather play Ryan than Murray.
Yeah, I think all of the Arizona guys they're getting a premium right now just because of the volume of plays that they run. So the opportunity is there. So law of averages, if you have more opportunities, the chance of something happening in your favor is greater. And they're going to run a lot of plays. Someone we didn't mention as a wide receiver, Larry Fitz. Old man Fitzgerald, again, is in a good spot. Again, just because of the volume.
And the injuries around him. If you're playing a cash game, I think Fitz is an absolute, just plug him in because you're almost guaranteed 15 to 20 points. I'm not, maybe less of an opportunity to get you to 30 to 40 that you wanted in a GPP.
Yeah, the other guy, I don't know if you heard the call, but I'm totally on D.D. Westbrook this week, too.
Yes. Is he matched up against P.J. Williams, which is like the worst cornerback in the league?
Yeah, he's going up against P.J.
Worse
Williams.
than Eli Apple? Oh, okay. Yeah. That's good to know.
D.D. Westbrook. And I might as well throw it out there. Minshew, I think, is in a great spot. If you had a pair of cojones, you would play Minshew. God's honest truth. He could light it up the way this kid is playing. I mean, am I saying he's the second coming and he's going to do amazeballs? No, but he's in a good spot to do things.
Okay.
He's probably going to be trailing, which means he's going to have to throw the ball. He's got poise. He's got accuracy. He's got a ton of weapons in DJ Chark and Westbrook and Fournette out of the backfield, who all of a sudden has hands. I mean, the opportunities are there. The weapons are there. O'Shaughnessy as the tight end, I think, he could be another sneaky play. You throw him in there.
6 to 8 points a week.
You asked me the floor and ceiling of a guy named Sprinkle.
6 to 8.
Here is the floor of a guy named O'Shaughnessy.
6 to 8 points a week. I'm carrying him on my fantasy team. 6 to 8 points a week.
But the difference is with O'Shaughnessy's been sharing targets, and he's not sharing targets this week. So what was 4 or 5 targets might be 6 to 8 targets.
It's Minshew. He'd be sharing targets with everybody on the field. This guy's like Drew Brees, throws to everyone he possibly can.
I'm just saying there's not 2 tight ends this week like there's been.
Yeah.
All right. Why don't we get into the lineup build here? And I'm sure we will talk about a whole lot more as we're doing this. Gentlemen, I gave you my opinions of the quarterbacks that I like. Where do you want to start? Or do you not want to start with quarterback and you want to start with running back and we'll figure quarterback out later?
I just plugged this in here just to have fun. The Minshew Westbrook stack is they're 10-8 each. You said if you want to have some cojones.
Okay, let's see where we net out here. 10-8 and wide receiver Westbrook. D.D. Westbrook. You want to go Fournette and just complete the stack?
Sure. I don't have any because I took Fournette. Yes, I would.
Okay, Fournette is in there. I really want to go. I want to go Lev Bell.
So do I.
You're awful quiet over there, bro.
Go ahead. You want to go Le'Veon Bell? Go for it.
I feel like we're running you over, Rep Boy.
I'm sorry.
Throw a name in there.
No, I was over here quickly building a Minshew lineup. And I just wanted to see where it would come out. Minshew, Carson, Zeke Elliott, Michael Thomas, Mark Cooper, George Kittle, D.D. Westbrook, Zach Ertz, Jets D.
It looks pretty damn good now, doesn't it? Adam Thielen,
Save that
Amari
lineup.
Cooper, Michael Thomas,
All right, let me build this lineup.
DeAndre Hopkins.
We're playing main slate on this, right? No Sunday game?
This is the $1 million or 500,000.
That's main slate.
Yeah.
There's no night game.
Why don't you just go put the lineup in?
I have a lineup over there that I'm running in that already. I'm going to run 3 lineups in the $1 million maker this week.
Okay.
Ren, why don't we come back to this last wide receiver when we fill in some of the other spots and see where we're at?
All right. So
Price-wise.
tight end, we've all pretty much agreed it's Austin Hooper, right?
You're going Leonard Fournette, huh? I hope they shut him the fuck down. I guess I shouldn't be saying that. We're doing what, Lev Bell?
Yep.
And
D.D. Westbrook, Austin Hooper.
oh, Hooper's a given. Hold on, DD.
You want to create value?
We want to go down to Carson? I mean, he's like 10,000 range.
I was thinking go down to the Adrian Peterson, Chase Edmonds, Malcolm Brown,
Killing me.
Latavius Murray at 7K.
So far, you've got everybody that has like one of the best matchups in the league on paper, and then we've got Fournette in there who has the worst matchup in the league.
Doesn't mean that
on
he's going to
paper.
stay there.
Oh, I know. So what are you talking? Flex?
Yeah.
Or are you looking for that other wide receiver spot?
No, we're floating wide receiver right now.
Okay. Going flex.
So is Kamara definitely out?
He's not definitely out. I'm going with the assumption right now that he is, and the changes I've made to my lineup. But he didn't practice today, and he was a non-participant. Yeah, I mean, it's just it's going in the wrong direction.
Should throw defense in there right now to get it out of the way. This way you know what your true value on these 3 positions are, since they're pretty much all flex spots.
Okay, Jets.
3rd best defense in the league.
At 4,000. So.
I know, it's 4,000. Look up in the board. Jets.
And look what they did against the Patriots.
It's
Scored
Jets.
16 points or whatever it was.
I mean, I've got them in 3 lineups so far.
All right, so that gives us 12,500 to play with per remaining slot, and we could get some value here. You got Michael Gallup, Tyler Boyd, Tyler Lockett, Terry McLaurin, who we all seem to be high on at 12.3. Do we want to bite on that?
I would think that you're going to throw Amari Cooper in at 12.9.
I'll put Cooper in. Oh, I'm fine with that.
And that leaves you your 2 flex spots,
At 12,500 a piece.
which gives you the ability to grab like Stephon Diggs, which I wouldn't do. Gives you your Mark Ingram, you're looking at 20 points there, and he's got the 31st best matchup in the league.
So we got Mark
Hey,
Ingram.
what about Derrick Henry against Denver?
I like
Think
that.
of what Fournette did against Denver 2 weeks ago.
And yeah, he's low, right? He's low on the totem pole, Derrick Henry.
He's 11,000. You know the volume's going to be there.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So if we go Derrick Henry.
Okay, take Derrick Henry and throw in DJ Chalk and call it a day.
We can get Hopkins.
You can get Hopkins. Oh, and Chalk in
You
there.
can get Cooper Kupp.
No,
No, two Cooper. All right, I'll take out Fournette, and I'll go.
Why are we taking Fournette out?
We're going to take Fournette out, and we're going to put in Derrick Henry.
Oh, okay, you're just okay.
Where's Derrick
I don't
Henry?
want to do. I don't
What
want
is
to
he,
do.
10 what?
I'm going to take out Fournette.
He's 11, okay.
Derrick Henry's 11.
Got him in there.
That gives us 15-6 to play with,
Which is 16-4.
which is Julio Jones.
Oh, I threw DJ Clark in.
We already have D.D. Westbrook, so I don't want to go that deep down the rabbit hole.
Okay, so
I'm good. I'm either good with we go back to Fournette, we go can't guard Mike,
it's tough not to can't guard Mike.
we go Julio Jones,
What do we got so far?
DeAndre Hopkins. We have 15-6 left on the
we
table.
got Minshew, Henry, Bell, Westbrook, Cooper, Hooper.
Yeah, I'm missing 2 spots.
Right, flex.
So I'm at 27-9.
All right, 27-9.
Gardner Minshew, Derrick Henry, Le'Veon Bell, D.D. Westbrook,
Right, and the Cooper.
Amari Cooper,
Hooper.
Right. Ingram the second.
You're going Ingram.
Okay.
It's running.
I like that.
And then we have 15-6 that we can go to Julio Jones. We can go DeAndre Hopkins. We can go Mike Thomas. We can go back to Fournette.
How do you not guard? You got to throw in not
We could go to Thielen at 13-1.
Game log.
I kind of like Jones sitting there at 15-6. I mean,
I kind of like that too.
Can't guard Mike.
I kind of like that too.
Can't guard Mike against Jacksonville. Look what he did to Tampa last week. Look what he did to Dallas.
Yeah, but Julio Jones is going up against Arizona, who sucks.
Yeah, that's true too. Makes it tough. Well, so then we go Julio Jones.
That leaves no money on the table.
what I really like about this lineup is I don't feel like we're punting anywhere. And we're just hoping to, and even, I don't think Gardner Minshew against New Orleans is a punt. He may not get 40, but
you're going to get 30.
2 to 3x performances is very reasonable. And then you're happy everywhere else. Like I see this lineup let's break it down. How do you see this lineup getting 200 points?
I have 2 question marks in this lineup that keeps me from saying yes to that.
Well, one of them being Julio Jones.
One of them being Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
The other one being
Julio Jones. I'm sorry. You're hoping you go back 3 weeks for a good performance out of him. You're saying it's a great matchup against Arizona, but wasn't it a great matchup against Houston? Wasn't it a great matchup against Tennessee? We know it was a great matchup against Indy, Philly, and Minnesota.
Mike Thomas might actually have a better matchup.
Better weekly average.
You know who probably has the best matchup out of someone we haven't? DeAndre Hopkins probably has the best matchup against Bashard Breeland
In the Kansas City game.
Yeah.
And that leaves you, what, 1,600 left on the table if you grab him? Yup.
And where does that take us, say, defense-wise? Or where does that
Defense?
take us? Where does that
looks to
take us
me-
from Derrick Henry?
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. That leads me to take Derrick Henry right out. And with 12-6 on the table, that leaves you what? Melvin Gordon ain't touching that. Leaves you Derrick Henry anyway. Okay, so throw Henry back in.
Yeah, but that's not the... I mean, we could move Ingram to running back.
True.
And then in
Punt Henry
flex,
completely. I mean,
in flex at 12-6, you have Stephon Diggs. You have Terry McLaurin at 12-3. And that would leave $300 on the table.
what's
I'm
our
okay
cap
with
here?
that.
12 what? 12-6?
12-6.
It's right out of the reach of Will Fuller. I think Melvin going to Tyler Lockett, Tyler Boyd. Oh, boy. I mean, Boyd should have a great game at Cincy.
Against Baltimore?
Yup. Look at his matchup.
Tyler Boyd. Let me see here. Tyler Boyd. He's going up against Brandon Carr. It's an average matchup.
Brandon Carr will smoke him.
Tyler Lockett has actually a really...
Did you flip out Thomas for Julio?
Our lineup currently is Gardner Minshew, Mark Ingram, Le'Veon Bell, D.D. Westbrook, Amari Cooper, Austin Hooper, empty flex spot, DeAndre Hopkins, Jets defense.
Okay.
1,600 on the table.
If you go with Thomas, you'll have exactly 12 instead of Hopkins. You'll have exactly 12.8 left over, and you can get Will Fuller.
But we already have the. I don't.
No, you would have Thomas instead of Hopkins, then you'd have Fuller.
I need to see Will Fuller's.
Take Lockett or Boyd right now, and then punt the Jets and move up.
I need to see.
My personal pick is Tyler Boyd. He's got the dynamite matchup.
Houston, Fuller. Fuller's going up against Charvarius Ward.
Who's that?
Hopkins is going up against Brashard Breeland.
That's
who's just been smoked all over the place all season.
True.
Okay.
I mean, the destroyed him last week.
We dropped in that flex.
And I do like the fact that I think there's a lot of people who've been burnt by Hopkins lately, so there might be a recency bias against playing him.
Exactly. I think not a lot of people will be on him. I mean, at 12-6, we have Stephon Diggs going up against Philly, which he has a premium matchup. Have Tyler Lockett, who has a premium matchup.
It's not really middle of the field, though, but okay.
You have Terry McLaurin, who is like the favorite target of Case Keenum. Miami.
I know, and that's a tough game because you got new coach, new everything, and it could just be one show right there.
But it might just be like
could be
Washington is like, oh my God, I had the best week of practice in I can't tell you how long.
Right.
And
team could be pumped
let's
up.
go, yay, rah, rah. Let's go kill Miami. They suck anyway. We're a 3-point favorite. Let's make it 30.
I'm going to throw one other name out there. I'm not loving it, but it's kind of with but Melvin Gordon has a great matchup. This is another week back. I think there's more of an effort to get him the ball. It's 12-4, get you another running back in that situation.
But is he going to be the lead back, or is it still Eckler?
I think what I saw last week is that Gordon primarily took care of the running, and Eckler primarily took care of the receiving. But I think you'd rather have Eckler unless you're looking at game flow, where you think the Chargers are going to be leading over Pittsburgh because they're on their third string quarterback. And then you have, Gordon to basically just seal out the game and with lots of carries in that third and fourth quarter.
Garbage time. I mean, he didn't show any kind of streak of life last week.
And I'm not sure if Gordon's just in here to collect some game checks and move on to the next team, too.
He still got his share of the looks.
I'll tell you what, at 12-4, I would rather save the $100 or burn the $100 and go with Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, I don't trust Melvin Gordon just yet. You got to give me.
I would rather go at 12-3 and take McLaurin, who is healthy. He's a favorite target of Keenum, and you're playing Miami.
Okay.
Boy, it's a bit of a stretch, but I feel it. I feel it, but it's definitely a bit of a stretch.
Hey, we already have a stretch with our starting quarterback is Gardner Minshew.
Yeah.
So why not go all in to go all in?
And then we move up to Arizona Cardinals D at 4,100.
No, we leave it with the Jets.
Better matchup, Arizona.
Just playing devil's advocate a bit. I mean, the most receptions that McLaurin has had in the game so far is 6. So it's 5, 5, 6, 3, but he probably got injured in that game.
Look, it's bad when they don't even have a profile picture on him.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like Terry McLaurin, or I'll take your Tyler Boyd, Webb.
I personally would either go with Boyd. I mean, you could be
or Lockett. I mean, you could sell me on McLaurin, Lockett, or Boyd. Someone give me a good argument as to why to play one over the other. I will tell you right now, the best matchup is most likely Lockett. I can pull that up real quick while you guys discuss.
I mean,
but I'm pretty
this
sure.
McLaurin thing here. I mean, you're right. 5, 5, 6, and 3. Okay, last week it was an abomination of a game.
He didn't play last week. He was out.
He played.
Oh, he did play.
3 receptions, 51 yards, averaging 17. It didn't find the end zone. In 3 weeks prior to that, he found the end zone. So he's putting up. I mean, what is this?
Well, Lockett has a TD in 3 of the 5 games so far.
Yeah.
And he's had 2 games where he's had 10 or more receptions.
And Terry McLaurin is going up against Xavier Howard at a plus matchup of 6.54. Matchup rating. I mean, you could go to the other side of the ball if you really want to get tricky and go with Preston Williams.
Tyler Lockett.
But he's going up against Quentin Dunbar, so I'd stay away from that. And I'd stay away from Devontae Parker going up against Josh Norman. And I'd stay away from Albert Wilson going up against Fabian Moreau. All negative matchups.
Yeah.
I kind of know why I'm on this, but I went to this game, I think not having a piece of this game, because I really like what you're saying. New coach, yay, rah, rah. Let's go win. Let's not be bagel.
All right, you sold me. I'm putting them in, and I'm saving this lineup. Bam.
You know what I also really like about this? I was looking at Lockett. The 1 week that he went off, I mean, he had 11 receptions for 154 yards and a TD, scored 35 fantasy points. Who was against?
New Orleans.
It was against New Orleans, and so now we have this, D.D. Westbrook in there.
That was also the game that they took Drew Brees out.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was. That's the Seattle game where Brees went out.
Brees went out in the Rams game.
Oh, that's true. Rams game. Sorry. Homer.
All right, let's go through this. I like this lineup. We got Minshew, Ingram, Bell, Westbrook, Cooper, Hopkins, McLaurin, and Jets.
Yep.
Damn, I have this
playing it.
I have this lineup twisted in a completely different way also. Minshew, Carson.
Well, this is
Elliott.
Okay. So before we end this, and
Thomas.
while you dig up your picks for this weekend, I'm gonna go over to the NFL, and I'm gonna find us on Fanduel. I'm gonna go over to. Let me find
Fanduel.
I'm just gonna no experienced players. Come on, man. Let me find a tournament here. NFL Snap 40K 444 entry. I'm gonna play this, and
I got one to drop. Is that we can go up against the guys that were Fantasy Pros. They have their own private contest.
Yeah.
Okay. How do I get to that?
Do you have your box in the Slack?
Yeah.
Okay, I will find it and I will drop it into Slack.
Okay. See, I wish on FanDuel you could just build a lineup, but you can't.
Yeah, you can.
You can build a lineup and not enter it, but it's not saved. You can't do what you can do on DraftKings.
I could have sworn you could do that on FanDuel.
No. My lineup. So I'm going to go the route of... What did we say before, Webby? Taking...
All right.
Oh, I got 2 free plays this week. And they're probably them bullshit.
Quarter hockey?
No, they're all football, but it's, pick your MVP and then 4 other flex spots.
Why didn't I get that? Where did that go?
Why didn't you get what? You got an exclamation next to your little horn up there.
Yeah, I just sent you the link.
Get this.
Lobby. NFL. What are we doing? $1 Million Maker here?
No, this is a private tournament.
Oh, okay. 0.75. All right, I see. Oh, we got the overtime touchdown bonus this week, right?
All right, so we're going up against Fantasy Pros here?
Yes.
Fantasy Pros beat the expert.
We're going up against Mike Tagliere and Bobby Sylvester.
All right, let's do this, gentlemen. Quarterback, hit me.
Minshew.
You want to build out what we just did?
Do you really want to go with what we just did and see how it stacks?
It's going to be tough to do.
Yeah, I think
you
so.
can't cross over.
Well, we could try here. Let's see. Minshew at 69. Leave me alone. Then we went with Lev Bell. Then we went with...
It was Mark Ingram.
Yeah, where's Ingram? And someone help me with prices here.
I can't help you with the prices because I don't have it here.
Ingram.
7,500 for Ingram. Who was the other one? Lev Bell.
Who are our wide receivers? Amari Cooper.
No. D.D. Westbrook, then Amari Cooper.
It don't matter.
I know it doesn't matter. I was just trying to give you consistency.
D.D. Westbrook. We need a third wide receiver here. All right. So that was who?
DeAndre Hopkins.
DeAndre Hopkins.
Where did you find D.D.? What was his price? Help me out.
5,400.
54.
Tight end was Hoopa.
Where the hell? Oh,
We get one. Our defense was Jets
85, right? For
at 3,100. In our flex, that leaves us 7,400, which puts us in the range of Leonard Fournette, Chris Carson, Adam Thielen. Where's Terry McLaurin? Where's Terry McLaurin? We can go get a high-priced defense here. Terry McLaurin, 6,400. So that puts us off the Jets and on to who? Seattle Seahawks defense versus Cleveland.
Yeah, I like that. I really like the Chargers defense this week against Pittsburgh. Oh, they're not on the slate because they don't do Sunday night on FanDuel.
Yeah. All right. Our lineup is Gardner Minshew, Le'Veon Bell, Mark Ingram, Amari Cooper, D.D. Westbrook, DeAndre Hopkins, Austin Hooper, Terry McLaurin, Seahawks.
I can't. Where's McLaurin? 60 what?
6,400.
Oh, I'm in tight ends.
Right there. You just passed it.
Oh, he's got a photo. I was looking for a guy without a photo.
And we went from the Jets to Seattle.
Leaves me $1,000 on the table. Went from Jets to Seattle. Huh?
Against Cleveland.
All right, I'll enter this in the $1 Million Maker. Enter.
All righty, gentlemen. Webby, what are your sports?
If that hits, I'll split the money with everyone, since we went out that way and not this way. This week, there are a lot of things you can do across the NFL this week. I really don't care for a lot of the games. I mean, the Carolina and the Bucs game, at 2 points, it should just be a pick 'em.
I would say take the under because it's in.
Yes, it's in Tampa.
London.
It's in London. It's in London. Yeah. And if you want to pick up that game, the under, I agree completely, is the way to go.
Minus 110.
And at minus 110, we'll just drop a whopping $10 on that right now. Oh, I got to log back in. Sorry. Okay. Did that bet clear? Yeah, I think it did. No, it did. Throw it in there. The Eagles-Minnesota game, I think it's going to be a close game, actually.
I think there's a lot of trap games this week.
Yeah, this being one of them. Because, again, I mean, you heard us pick guys and look at everybody from these two teams across boards. And, I mean, Zach Ertz is a great play. We talked about a lot of guys. I really don't know if I want to bet this game.
I
think I'm kind of staying away. But if you're going to, under may be the way to go because it's a 10 o'clock game in London with travel and everything else. It could be the way to go. Cincinnati-Baltimore game, you should just probably give the 10.5 points, take Baltimore. Or if you want to get real ballsy, you can take the 10.5 points and the over to go with it. This way, at least you're hedging your bet there.
True.
That could be the smartest play. They dropped the line on the Houston Chiefs game. It's down to 4 at 55.5. At 55.5, I like.
You like the over?
I like the over at 55.5. I did not like it at 56.
Do you like Houston winning that game?
Don't care who wins that game, and I think it's going to be Kansas City. The money's even. I mean, everything's 110, minus 110, minus 110. Everything's this whole week. Everything's pretty much minus 110. So there's no money to be made unless you're going to lay out, $200-$300 on the game.
Oh, the Washington game's gone up to 3.5.
3.5. Yeah, they pushed it over the field goal, which makes it a little bit more appetizing to bet on. I still think, I'm hedging this game. I am betting it. I am taking the Dolphins to win. Yeah, I am. And I'm taking that on the money line. I don't want the points. I don't need the points. So I'm taking the Dolphins on the money line. On that. But on the opposite side of the ball, am I going to hedge it by taking the Redskins with the points? No. It doesn't matter then. It's pointless to do that. Let's do that. The Seattle-Cleveland game, I'm staying away from it. It's a trap game. We've seen Seattle look great.
So is the
and
Saints
then
Jags
we've
game.
seen Seattle look horrible. The Saints game at 1.5, I'm taking because it's going to be another one of those Saints.
Underdog.
Yeah. Well, they're on the road, and they got a backup quarterback, so of course they're underdog. No matter what Bridgewater. So I'm taking the Saints game. I think it's a 3-point game. You could take the minute up and make some money on that game. And double your money, basically. The Falcons-Cardinals game, another game that should be a push. You don't know what you're going to get out of Matty Ice, even though I am exposed to him across 4 lines. So if you wanted to play that game, and I'm staying away from it, if you wanted to play that game, it looks like it could be a Falcons win with the game script for Ice. Niners-Rams, that's another toss-up game at 3 points. That should be a pick 'em. Niners look great defense, but their quarterback is suspect. Whatever the fuck comes his way, they're relying on a running back or 2 of them, possibly 3 in this game. And,
wow.
And with
Niners
the Rams
are a favorite on the road.
On the road. Yes.
On the road, a favorite.
Because the Rams are horrible.
Wow.
I've said it. I got beaten up for it on Facebook. The Rams are just awful right now. They have nothing going for them. They just cook it. Jared Goff is all over the place. What else you got? 2 Coopers, 1 Cup?
No, you got a lot of weapons there.
Oh, yeah. We stayed away from him this week in DFS.
Oh, yeah. I'm not buying into the game.
Take the over on that game.
50.5.
50.5. I would jump all over the over. It is minus 110 either way. Dallas Jets, give the 6.5 points to the Jets and take Dallas all day long. It should be the Amari Cooper, Jason Witten show. Aside from that, I mean, you want to lay on the Monday night game? Good luck. It's Green Bay versus Lions.
At home in Green Bay.
The Lions are for real, it looks like, even though they got the tie out there, right? They tied. They had tied. They do look for real. We talked about that. Mm-hmm. And Green Bay, last week looked great. The week before that looked horrible. The week before that looked great. The week before that looked horrible.
Yep.
You don't know what you're going to get
there.
And
they're
at
home, so we'll see.
You have no idea what you're going to get there. I do have a parlay bet that I will give out there. Let me just bring that up. It's settled. My 4-team parlay this week. Where the hell is it? It's down here. Is the Baltimore Ravens, the Philadelphia Eagles. Oh, you can't. I already took the New England Patriots and the Dallas Cowboys. So there's your 3-team parlay. Cowboys, Eagles, Ravens.
All right, gentlemen. Final words.
Peace.
Dan, anything? You're muted, bro.
He was typing away. He had to mute himself.
No, I like what we did this weekend, kind of going in a different direction with our quarterback wide receiver stack, which I think is a primo stack, but is going to be way under-owned.
Oh, yeah, I think completely. All right, with that said, this has been DFS Fantasy Foreplay, week number 6. Good luck, everyone. Take our words of advice or don't. That's up to you. We will see you next week.